related.
What happened?
I don't know.
It's like talking about my cafe.
No, it was all good, but we just covered less.
Okay.
All right, in the context of this book, what does it mean to have lower views? Yes.
Cherries.
Yeah, but we didn't get there. I was expecting to get there.
Salcher.
It's the cousin of Carnegie. Salcher.
Second question, why does the author says that not all good deeds are virtuous? Or are... Yes.
I would say the practice of good deeds.
Oh, the practice.
Yeah, meaning attempted practice.
All right. What is the result on concentrating only on glorifying ourselves?
You get to be the teacher.
You won't finish your project.
You will get what you want, but that's all you're gonna get.
Yeah, it's more like that.
No?
Sort
You
of.
get the worldly results, which you hope.
So in this, I changed the order. Usually you get the problem, then you get the cause. This is the cause. So
What's the result? Oh,
so this is the cause, not the result. Usually,
is the cause?
yeah, this is the cause.
You only get the glory and all the worldly things, but you don't get any progress spiritually.
Sort of.
Yeah, it's something like that.
So he was talking about, yes.
What was it?
Untamed mind.
He was talking about engaging in good deeds with an untamed mind, and that the cause of it was that concentrating only on glorifying ourselves. Like when he talked about the four worldly thoughts.
The cause of engaging in deeds with an untrained mind?
What was that?
The cause of engaging in deeds with an untrained mind.
Isn't trying to tame my own mind.
The cause of glorifying.
Right.
Yeah, right, so that's just stating it the opposite way.
Exactly. Oh, I don't know.
She's saying, because I didn't train my own mind first.
No, the other way. It says, when I find myself engaging in good deeds with an untamed mind, it's because
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I just changed I usually ask the other way.
Yeah.
Cool. First word. Actually,
Glorify.
yes.
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
Glorify is a good
I like it.
yeah.
It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
Aggrandizement. But nobody says that.
Volunteers.
Yes. Great. And she what?
Lines?
Yeah, what does the line do?
Right, wrap around.
Uh-huh.
Wrap up though? Oh, I guess
Wrap
it's
around.
they call that wrap up.
Yeah.
And you probably want to get rid of the sign.
Wrap around is better.
The sa is extra. The BAS. The S is a. Yeah, it's an instrumental. Yeah. Okay.
True walk. True walk.
True one.
All is good, one way is
Yeah.
you got
Yeah.
way action.
Cool. Thank you.
By the way, a famous use of that verb is with the two side channels.
Yeah.
The way they twist around the main channel. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Take the airplane. Good? Yeah. Okay. Please read the Tsawa.
Tani tarpan do la triwarcha.
Dilwarcha.
Drillwarcha.
Good. A real English D because there's a prefix or there's a head letter. Okay. She means what this is saying is dachinche on same deed chetap.
In this life, glorifying myself.
Glorifying myself or trying to get some kind of fame in this life. Wangdu means to go under the power of that. I won't allow myself to fall under the power of that. Wangdu. Yeah, Chungse Kyang mi tongwa. By the way, this usage of tongwa kind of supports in words text the use of give up with Kunshi Lambochi. The great theory of Kunshi, he says tong. You know, so there's tong used as giving up. Here it's glorification. But it supports reading that as a negative. Although I still think it could be either one. It's not Gewa Chiche.
Whatever virtue.
Yeah, whatever good deeds I try to do, all of them, I will make sure they are tarwa from, freed as a verb, okay? Freed from the chains of Nengen Len for $20.
Like a arhat jumping over a puddle.
Stain of darkness.
Yeah, $10 each jumping. She's not here. Cancel that.
I'll remember.
I can just remember. Yeah, this is one of the most difficult ideas of Buddhism. It's a subtle shadow of negativity that an arhat still has. Especially a lower arhat still has some kind of shadow, trace, call it trace. The literal meaning is to take a bad position. Nengen Len. So you can, if you don't know Tibetan very well, you can come up with some really strange translation here. But it means subtle traces of ignorance, because you have destroyed the seeds, but you still have these traces, okay? And an example is the way an arhat walks. Yeah, they could be making some kind of mistake in how they walk, like a subtle swagger or something. Like it's not a mental affliction. It's just a thing about their estilo, con stilo, and it's still got a little bit of samsara left in it. It's very subtle. Okay, Nengen Len, which becomes a Sheja Dipa. Yeah, an obstacle to omniscience, because he doesn't have
Obstacles to mental.
good. He doesn't have nyundips anymore. He or she doesn't have nyundips. They don't have negative emotions anymore to block them, but they are still held back from perceiving all things at the same time. And their swagger is contributing. How they walk is contributing. You could say, yeah. It must, yeah, somehow. Okay, so what he's saying here is, whenever I try to do a good deed, I will try to divorce it, free it, tarwa, from both nyomong, but he didn't say nyomong.
Clay shake.
Yeah, anything to do with negative thinking. He didn't say negative thinking. I will try to divorce it from anything to do with negativity and from the subtle traces of misbehavior which would prevent me from becoming omniscient. Okay? So he's not just talking about not bragging in the class. It's more subtle. Okay? Okay, got it? And what he's saying is it could keep you away from your spiritual practice. Even just subtle, like putting yourself up, criticizing other translators in their use of small words might be enough to stop you from becoming omniscient. Okay? So let's not do it anymore, even if it's true. Just kidding. I'm going to focus. Okay, let's go to Lo Sechik, the last line. Okay, Lo Sechik. I will keep my mind Sechik. Single pointed. And dill. So let's talk about dill, because you haven't had it much. Do you remember anything about dill? Yeah. It's a kind of pickle, right? A dill pickle.
It's not like do, like to put in.
Dill means to wrap up. What's dirshok? Dirshok. Saran wrap.
Really?
Yeah, dilshok. Wrapping paper. Dirshok. Okay, so stuff you wrap around food to keep it fresh is called wrapping paper. Dill paper. Okay, dill means wrap. But there's a poetic meaning of dill, which means to focus on something. Keep your mind on something. Wrap your mind in that thing. So it's often used with ekagra. So keep your mind single-pointed on one thing. Focus on one thing. Drill means focus. Okay. Oftentimes, when a person's driving and looking around, the other person will say, "Jida,
Focus, man.
front seat driver." I'm a front seat driver, but if you are a back seat driver, you tell the driver, can you focus on the road? You're going to kill us both. So you say "dishi." Drill shik means let's drill your mind, meaning focus your mind, meaning wrap your mind on the road and not on the music or something. Okay. All right. So, what are you going to drill about? The clue is in the kona.
Only
Yeah.
Transcendent.
Yeah, only on getting to Tarpachol,
the highest of freedom.
which is nirvana without remainder. Okay, here's Minepe Nyangde. Final nirvana. Okay, so from now on, I will keep my thoughts, especially when I'm doing good deeds. Okay, I'm teaching, or meditating. I won't worry about how other people see me. I will keep my focus on the ultimate goal. Okay, got it? That's all. It's a useful advice, right? Because we're all trying to be good people, but our good deeds are infected by, ego. Yeah, good. Okay, here we go. Next verse.
Dukma taklak tak chinju ketse. Chelme sen trok tolka trimpai linging chuncha ranga korwai.
Okay, this is actually pretty difficult. And again, the language here is the oldest of almost anybody here because it's Tibetan while Tibetan was still being invented. So a lot of the words didn't settle out this way. Okay, like after a century or two, they took on a different meaning. So this is a particularly difficult language, even for the author. So he's going to keep giving us the modern updates for words that changed in the century after Tibetan was invented as a written language. Okay, here we go. And Seiji, what are you going to do with all this text?
Bolt out the.
Yeah, he's going to bold out, and then maybe Word or Nick is going to go through and make sure he didn't bold the wrong la or the wrong yin, because there's more than one yin. Okay, and sometimes that's a difficult call. Okay, with words text, it's a difficult call. Yeah. Okay, Shepani, please read. Perna.
Perna sam tabu bene kom chup sokchi petse gi petse rangyu la takpana netu chikyan ma somwar tome da tare tam chan tema chana jena lekpan dukte nyampa abu gyo kyu petse.
Nice. Everyone's pronunciation's getting better, so it's time to move to a new language. Just kidding. Now, what's this line saying? Perna. Sam la de. Here's the day. Here's the tam. Okay.
So when you're placed in a border, when you're in retreat,
Yeah, when you put your ass down and retreat. Okay? When you're staying in retreat, there's the word in Tibetan. If you're doing something like staying in a retreat, okay? So if you're doing something like, he's trying to bring up some good deeds that you might not do in the best way. Right? Because he started out this conversation on the homework by saying, not every virtuous practice is virtuous. Depends on your motivation, right? So he said, let's suppose you're going to... So the perna could almost be translated as, let's suppose you're going to stay in something like a retreat. And you dedicated yourself to gom and drup. Yeah, meditation and other practices, okay? This can be the sudden sadhana. You're trying to reach the angel, okay? And you're doing that. Gi is the ancient word for to do. He's being polite to his audience, which is the way to criticize your students in Tibetan. You know, you honorable, stupid guys. You know, yeah, they most often the Lama will speak respectfully to the student, even when they're correcting them. Okay, so he's using a very high word. This is the third level. You have Chepa, Zepa, and then Gipa. He's using very high language. You know, when you honorable students undertake things like meditation retreat, don't forget the Takpa Rangigyu.
Don't forget to look at your own mind.
Yeah, examine your own thoughts. You know, keep a watch on your own thoughts. You know, keep a check. Without the S, it might mean imagine. In your text, we had thoughts and lungs. Yeah, but with the S, it means it's more obviously it means check. So check. It can mean analyze, but it can also mean check up on your mental state. And if you see tong, let's go backwards. If you see that a single thought, even a single thought, isn't hitting the point. Okay, ne du masong. You know, you're supposed to be focusing on death meditation. And if you see a single thought go to pizza, that's all. He's saying if you see a single thought that doesn't hit the mark, okay, ne du song, right? That's marmahata. That's marma. Yeah. If one thing doesn't hit exactly the right meditation point. Tongne, Tare, Tamja Dema Chena Lekba Dukde. Don't think, and you say, today, my meditation isn't going where I promised I would take it. Okay, my meditation isn't going where I was supposed to take it, you know.
This is like the debate position.
Yeah, well, it could be. When I first read it, I thought he was saying, maybe it's better I give up on this point today that I promised to meditate on. Because he says lek. It would be good if I didn't do what I promised. Today, dare means it's not happening today. When they say, that's not happening today. Like Anatole says, do such and such a pose, and you're like, that's not happening today. So I kind of want to read it that way. It would be better if I skip this one today. If you sense thoughts like that, then try to get...
Try to have a regret?
Yeah, try to say, I'm sorry. You know, it's not going to happen today, but... And then if you catch thoughts, if you talk your rangyu, if you're watching your mind and you hear that kind of thought go by, then at least try to regret that it's happening, okay? And then try to think of where it's coming from, okay? That's the exercise in Seiji's text. Oh, what was the karma I did that my meditation's not going so well today, you know? Let me fix that karma. Well, what is the karma? And that's in the pattern of his text, the Lama's going to talk about what karma did I do in the past that my meditations keep getting interrupted or tired or, you know, okay? So this is a very useful sentence. Keep going.
Teni kiewa nyongma namsuk chelme
Sandrop.
sanjok
Prenatal. Sandrop.
sanjok chepai paste te lama tau songchana tokpar sanchok chete che sok shu shin ringpo ma longpai chelme jete katongwa song soktan.
Okay, this is really interesting, and maybe you could make a DCI level out of it. Or maybe you could use it for when you're teaching, okay? The question is, what's the karmic cause of you can't control your mind during meditation. Your mind is not listening during meditation. What's the karmic cause? Here it is. Denikyewa, when you get that coming up in your mind, what happened was, Ngunma Namsu, in the past at some point, okay, you did sandok, which is chase after new associations, okay? And this is where you find a lama and you study, you get all excited, too excited, and there's a novelty, which has a name in Tibetan. It's either Epsart Sapo or Angsart Sapo. And there's a difference, and I remember Rinpoche correcting me, and I can't remember, because maybe I didn't listen too well. I think Angsart Sapo is the novelty, and Epsart Sapo is you chase after new experiences. Yeah, it's called I don't know what it is. I don't know where it comes from. Yeah, you won't find it in a dictionary. Ask somebody in the monastery. Anyway, the general meaning of Sar Sapo is novelty. You're into the novelty. You find a new system, you find a new lama. Okay, you get all excited about new things. Tell me means without necessarily thinking about how it's going to affect other people. Okay, kind of thoughtlessly, you chase the next big thing. Okay, in English, you can say the next big thing. You know. Now let's talk about what it means with regard to your relationship to a teacher, okay? And you meet people like that. You're not people like that because you've been stuck here for a while already. But they're already gone. But if we wanted to take, Sun here means if we take the example of your relationship to a lama, okay? Togmar you sandok. No, yeah, at the beginning, right? It's like when you meet a girl and you say, "Oh, this is the one. This is the real one. This is my real soulmate. Forget my wife." In Tokmar, at the beginning, you're all excited. Oh, sandok. I found a new friend. Okay, sandok. This is a verb, right? I have made a relationship with a new friend. Tokmar sandok. Yeah. Meaning with a lama, you know, oh, I found a new lama, really hot. Then you shu che. Yeah, you request the Dharma. Yeah. Oh, you look so amazing. Will you teach me Dharma? Okay, you fall in love with a new lama. Then Rinpoche Manumbar. Yeah, before very long. With the same thoughtlessness, okay, he repeats thoughtlessness when you're meeting them and when you're dumping them.
It should be the same lack of consideration, though, right?
Yeah, technically that. You're not thinking how it feels to them or to your friends or your family. But it's interesting that he added the tome to both the meeting and the dumping. You meet them thoughtlessly and you dump them thoughtlessly. Tome chete. Katoma means you criticize that new lama. Oh, you know, I thought he was really good, and now I think I heard him burp, or, you know, I saw this thing that I didn't like.
When you say the second dump him thoughtlessly, does it mean that if you were to dump with thoughtfulness?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, that would probably be a good karma. That would probably be a good doubt. I found this new lama, and then I realized he was doing this. And that would not be a bad deed, that would be a good deed. So we're talking about thoughtless. You make the relationship thoughtlessly, and you break the relationship thoughtlessly, and not because you really did find out something important about their behavior, for example. Okay? All right. So what is all this describing? The cause of... Yeah, you have trouble meditating. He says it's making associations easily and then breaking them easily. Okay, chasing after the next new thing. And, well, no, because he said, "Sun, I'll give you one example." But it could be other things, you know, like, I don't know, new ways of running your company or something. But just keep cycling. In English, we say you cycle through ideas, you cycle through people, you keep dumping them, and you don't give them a chance. You don't commit to them and try hard. And you then you see another one, and it's like people who have this shopping disease, right? They see a cool new pants and they buy them, and then 2 weeks later they see another cool pants and they dump the first pants, and then they have a closet space problem. Which is not, I don't have a closet space problem because I don't have time to go shopping except for. Okay, here we go. Please read that Seiji. Toka.
Tokam chimpa shepa ninti la pega ship ne god gan chimpa shekyang chungwe detarna nyamlen sopran ki lo tsutan sunne tunne
Nedu.
Nedu kelwa miche par shenki no la gawar chena.
Good. Okay, difficult sentence. And the language is old. Okay, now the root text says tokadim, right here. And it's ancient language. So our author is going to repeat the word and then give us what it means. Okay, so tokadim. By the way, Dil and dim are the same. Okay, it means to focus. Okay, to focus on. Okay, so just be aware. Maybe there's some linguistic similarity, I don't know, but they both mean the same thing, and it's to focus on something, concentrate on something. Okay, and not in a good way, but just to put your mind on it. Okay, so now, tokadimba shepani. Okay, this is a difficult word. Tokadimba, and I'm going to explain it to you, okay? So toka means what's more impressive? The mouth of the high, which means you are focusing on the bell and the dorje and the uniform of the lama, and it looks very impressive, and then you don't want to talk to your normal lama who just wears jeans or something. This is much more impressive. These people are banging bells and doing mudras, and that's tokadimba. Wow, now that's the real thing. Okay, tokadimba shepani. He says, begashikne, in some pe cha. No, in some versions of this text. Okay, in some editions. Here it means edition. In some editions, tokadim is ngokadim. Okay, different. And this is happening with this text. It might be interesting to collect all the TBRC versions. Where is that TBRC guy? Thank you very much again. I'm in love with you guys. Well, you used to be the guy, but anyway. Now he's us guys. But I still love you. But you guys, TBRC is unbelievably fantastic work. Unbelievably, like really, 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 really important work. He's in charge of that organization for a long time, which creates the pictures of text that we input. So anyway, I would go to their list and get everyone you can of this text because the differences are important. There will be many differences between the editions, more than normal, because it's so old. And he put it in his pocket and he lost it or something. We don't have it. So all we have is many different versions. And it'd be interesting to have all the versions, okay? So he says, look, in some of the editions, you're going to see ngo ga dim instead of tokad ndim, okay? So what does that mean? I put here my own notes. One, the next pleasing face, like which lama has a bigger smile or more handsome, and the other version means what looks like a more tantric practice or something, more sexy, more high practice, or are you going to go on to the more amazing looking lama? Okay, and there was a very telling remark by Atisha who said, I had 150 lamas because I was handsome. Everybody wanted a good-looking student, but that's kind of depressing. Atisha said, the reason I had so many lamas is I was good to take on a tour. I looked the part. This very famous movie maker came to, when they made Kundun, a famous movie maker came, Kundun is called, and he came to the temple because I met him. He hired me to teach him what a geshe was, and because the main character had to be a geshe, and it was Mrs. Ford, Melissa Ford, Harrison Ford's wife was the director. She hired me. Yeah, and so I told him what's a geshe. I took him to the geshe course. And then they said, we need a lama to play the teacher of the Dalai Lama. So I said, I got one. And they said, who? And I said, my lama. I mean, he's like, boom. He's like, you want a lama who's going to be a tough ass? Come see my lama. And, but he was short. And there was a very tall, handsome, know-nothing monk in our monastery. And guess what happened? The guy came into the temple and went straight for he said, you're Michael's teacher, right? And the guy said, huh? And my teacher's like, I don't want to be in a movie. I'm like, we had to cancel the whole thing. Neither one got to go. So anyway, you just go to the next person who looks like a lama, okay? She Kyan Junwei. So Junwei here means you also see that reading in some manuscripts. Junwei means, She Kyan Jun means you also see the manuscripts that have this line, that have it as this way, okay? And let's take it that way, he says, Data now, let's read it that way. So this is an unusual case where he says, let's go with the other reading. Okay, so he's going to give his commentary to the other reading, okay? Which is, Mo means face, Ga means please, Jemba means focus on. Focus on the next pleasing face, okay? Nyamlen so rangi lotsu dan tene means your personal practice, nyamlen, okay? You should, dun is the verb from tumba. Tunba. Tumbo. Tunken.
Oh, tune, like
Yeah, harmony. Get along with. Fitting. Tunken, tumbo. Getting along. This is the verb. To tumboize. To tumboize. Okay? Now to kawa means to carry. Okay? Like that's what donkeys do, that's what horses do. Okay? Now this is a very beautiful sentence. You should choose your practices in keeping with your personal needs. You should select Buddhist practices, spiritual practices, in keeping with your needs. Lotsu means your level, your mental level, the measure of your mind, okay? Like tse, okay? You should select your promises, you should select your practices in keeping dun with your mental capacity, Like if you tend to get too busy, then you should be doing death meditation, okay? If you tend to look at other people's wife or husband too much, then you should be doing ugliness meditation, poo-poo meditation, okay? But you should judge practices on what you need, what your mind needs, and not, or say what I did in the past, I didn't do that. I didn't select practices in keeping with my own spiritual needs. I just did practices that would impress other people, that would make me look good to others. Yeah, shengingola, what other people thought were cool. I chose the practice where I had a big bell and a special hat. And, I was focusing on the practice with the best hat and not the practice that I needed in my own mind, okay? And that's how he wants to read the last line here. Tokar dim. He wants to read it as, you are focused on what would look good to other people. Shin. Okay? Shengingola. To them, what would look pleasing. And your whole practice is based on what might impress others, as opposed to what your personal spiritual needs are. Okay, got it? It's a very beautiful text. All right? Now,
The other one, so impressive.
he does not explain the other one.
Oh.
Okay, I'm sorry. Oh no, he does later. Later, in 2 paragraphs later, he's going to say, suppose we read it the first way. Okay, he gives us a choice. Okay, But he's still got something to say about trying to oppress others. Or something about it. Here we go. Here's a sentence. Perna.
Perna tongkan ni tongkan ken tabushik chunna tela kawar chepatan yang chang chuki senta
Tabu. Tabu. Yeah, BU is the only second syllable B that stays ba and not wa. Except P. No. B or boom. Anyway, okay. Anyway, you don't say wu, you say pu. Okay, tabu. Tenken. Chuana. Past tense, if they were to appear. Ngama. Kyur. Yeah. Cool. And this is very relevant to us. Okay? Perna, chungna means comes along. Okay? Here comes along a tongni tenken.
Emptiness teacher.
Yeah, here comes a sexy emptiness teacher. Chungna comes along and delagawa. And now he changes the gawa. You see, before it was practicing practices that would make people happy with you. But now he changed it to, you are attracted to the people who teach emptiness. Yeah, you're attracted to the people who teach emptiness. And then, here comes along somebody who's teaching Chanchu Kisem. Okay? And suddenly you kyora, which means to kick out the ngama, and you...
The lama before.
Yeah, which is kind of an extreme example, because you kick out which teacher? Yeah, he's not so sexy anymore. This guy's teaching compassion. That other guy's stuck on philosophy and theory, you know. You know, I'm not going with those theory guys anymore. I'm going with the guys who have a heart, you know. And I've heard this countless times. I've heard the opposite also countless times. Yeah, so, you know, it's very relevant to us, you know. Oh, I spent all these years in philosophy, and then I met a teacher who had a heart. So I dumped kyorwa. Kyorwa is a bad word. It's the word used for expelling a monk from the monastery. It has roots in the taste of a lemon. Kyonmo. Yeah, kyonmo. It means, you know. So it's a kind of a cruel verb. Yeah, you spit the first one out, and you go for the new one, just because he's new. Okay, and you're gonna kyorwa him after a year, and find another one who's teaching ayahuasca. You know, I thought philosophy and love was the way, but now I know it's ayahuasca. You know, you just keep going on to another thing. Tela Gawachepa. By the way, we had a good friend, Kevin Thornton, whose daughter died taking ayahuasca, and she filmed it. She was filming at the moment. So we have the film of her taking the drug from the shaman, the plant, and we have the phone falling down, and we hear her die. So that's my opinion of ayahuasca, okay? And she was a wonderful, wonderful person. Were you there? She sang the mandala in Celtic at my 3-year retreat. Okay? And she's a beautiful, beautiful person, okay? So anyway, Delagara Chepa. So you dump the first one, and you go after the second teacher, Tabu Yinla. Okay? He's explaining another example. So the gawa could either be directed at, yeah, what makes you look good and people like you, or it could be directed at the next lama. He says you can read the gawa either way. Either that you're in love with the lama, or you're in love with what people are in love with, because it makes you look cool. Okay, got it? Okay, now, that's why he has another paragraph here. Before he went on to, well, what if we read it the way it was in the original? How are you going to commentary on Tokad Jim? Okay, suppose it were really that way when Natisha got the book, the paper from his lama, folded up, and put that in your pocket, read it when you get to Tibet. What if Tokad Jim was the actual reading? Here we go.
mong wei lam la loma chak chang
Bar. Can you take the plane so I can have a coffee?
par tang po ni ne tong tong
Did you bring me coffee?
Tom, Tom, Tom.
Oh, God bless you.
tong tong po me po sok tong koi chula ga war chepat te la te tabu to kan ngot ga chin pasoki lengeng rang la kor wa samne tong len tan.
Nice. Your reading is getting nice. Okay, yang toka dim. Let's take it the first way. Yang means alternately. Okay, let's take it the first way. Wang to gina means wang to chena. He's made it honorific. Why the hell? I don't know. Okay, which means relative to the first reading. So wang to gina is an idiom. It just means if we stick to the first reading. Okay, why? I think he's still doing this Lama giving a lecture thing where he uses honorific to his audience, even in his adverb. Okay, it's super polite, and it's hard to do. When you're speaking honorific, it's very hard to remember. Typically, when you're learning Tibetan, you're honorific for about 5 words, and then suddenly you say "dude," and then you're like, "Oh no, I mean hi, man," you know. And it's very hard to sustain honorific for a very long. You have to keep thinking of the higher word. Okay, Angina. Kebu jung ding so tumoe lamla. Now, what was your attitude towards the shared practices? Shared with who? Shared with people of beginner level, medium level, okay, in the Lamrim especially. Mahjong. You don't practice them. You don't want to do the necessary preparation for the higher practices. You want to go straight to Tantra or something, okay? And it's so hard when you say, this is an inferior practice, please work on it so I can give you the better one. And inevitably people say, well, just give me the better one. You know? So you got to compare it. You got to say it's a foundation and it's not something you dump. You don't show the ladder away when you finish the first 2 steps. You keep it. It's a foundation. The highest tantrika is using the lowest lamrim all day. Okay, Manjangpar, Dambonine, from the very beginning, they want to tong tong, me. They want some chud tumbo, toa.
Some super high practice.
Yeah, they want some hard thing like what? Oh, the void. Tong tombo, me, nothing's there. You know, they want these things, these very high dharmas, you know. Gawa. Okay, now toka becomes tumbuchu. Now toka becomes tumbuchu. What? Yeah, so when he says focus on toka, it means focus on those supposedly high practices. Tong, void. You know, nothing exists, man. It's all... Okay. And that's what toka... So Jim is read as a gawa in either case. Focus means attracted to. Focus, jimba, means attracted to. In either case, both versions, the second half is attracted to, gawa, right? Find pleasing. And in the second case, the toka is higher dharmas. Okay. What was the other version? Moga. Which was? Pretty face. The next pretty face. You know, it's very common with men. You know. And the next pretty face. You know, you just keep going on to the next pretty face, okay, like that. Okay. Gawa chepate. Then he says, this kind of toka, I don't care, call it ngoga, call it toka, whatever. Okay, he says that. He says, this kind of toka, I don't care, call it ngoga. And by the way, the jimba distributes. This jimba distributes. I don't care whether you're talking about toka. You want to call it ngoga, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Because when you get the problem he mentioned, which is your meditation screws up. Okay? Okay, don't forget the context. When your meditations don't go well, he says, I don't care whether you call it, chasing the next big thing or chasing the next pretty thing. You take it either way. In either case, when you can't focus in your meditation, you're laying in along la cor. Your bad karma is coming back as zing. That was an unbelievable carving, right? That was a skill saw. It wasn't a helicopter. Okay. Mr. Wu showed us the carving of a guy with the crown of a knife, yeah. And it looked like a circular saw. It looked just like a circular saw chopping his head. I'll show it to you. You weren't here, maybe. No, come on.
The crown of skill saw.
Oh, wait. Where was it? Oh, it's in Mr. Wu's text. Hang with me here. Translation. Yeah, come back to you.
Crown of knives.
Here we go. Which one? Here it is. Oh, it's a long. I get it. Here it is, Nick. Nick. Right there.
Whoa.
Okay, and it's cutting his head.
It's got like, yeah.
Yeah. More?
It's pretty good photos.
It won't go bigger. Yeah. Yeah, they're back in the film days when you stood there for an hour and left it going.
Yeah. So
Okay. It's that circle. It's like a saw cutting into his head. Okay. But maybe they couldn't make it flat on.
Yeah, I was about to say, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Sculpture.
Were they into perspective yet?
I don't know, you tell me. They're pretty amazing, but they're kind of flat, right? But they're exquisite. Okay, I hope he's thinking to make tankas out of them, which would be really nice. Okay, so we're gonna skip that.
Does this have a flavor of them being like flashy, like not being
Yeah.
deep practices?
Yeah.
Not actually
No.
deep.
No, well, slightly, yeah. When he repeats the emptiness, he's also criticizing the practice. Yeah, supposed. Wow, So yeah, slightly he is criticizing the practices also. Okay, but in the mentioned above that, those were real practices, emptiness, bodhicitta. So if you ask me that question, in the last sentence, he mentioned the practices in a respectful way, and when he got to the next time he mentioned them, he made fun of them. Okay, so you're gonna have to cover both. Okay, here we go. Sawa.
But in the second part, he's talking about supposedly higher because it's toka.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the
that's
second
true.
part, he's talking about real practices because
That you're attracted to
they're attracted.
right.
for a short time.
Little while.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good point. Good point. Okay, Sawa.
Tani Yongla Chok Luk Sa Parcha.
Yeah. Now, learn the word sup. In modern Tibetan, sup. Sup means be careful. Take care. Beware. Okay, sup cheta. Okay. On the subject of circular saws, if you're in the monastery and you hand a saw to a guy who hasn't used it before, you say sub che. Be careful. You can cut your fingers off. It means sub che. Okay. Normally sub means sammo. Yeah, deep, but this is with a G. The pronunciation is exactly the same. Okay, maybe they're related. Right? Yeah, and deep, But anyway, take care, sub che. Okay, you have to know that to appreciate this line. And I'm going to just translate it, okay? Now I will be more careful in how I choose my associations with everybody. I won't. And this, you will see it with Tibetans, and some cultures are like that. they don't make real friends quickly. It takes time to. Yeah, it took a long time for Rinpoche to really tell me something private. It took many years, and they're not like Geshe Mark will tell you about Veronica was doing yesterday. The first time I meet you. Tibetans keep they don't, Japan is similar. There's some cultures like that. Mexicans is so warm, they just tell you anything. And, it's not good or bad, it's just different cultures, okay? So anyway, what he's saying is be more careful in your choice of friends, or how you choose friends, okay? Now, let's read it. Now, let's, this ja is the imperative used towards himself. Yeah, good. Now, from now on, I will be more careful in how I choose my associations with everybody. Yongla. He's glossing Yongla, okay? Yong means completely, right? Kun means everybody. So now we know that Yong should be read as Kun, okay? All my associations, business associations, personal associations, I will be a little more careful in what I throw myself into, okay? I did a book with a guy. Someone taught me into doing a book with a guy, and then he was put in jail for financial, dishonest. Now I'm stuck with this book. But anyway, and that was just like a very spur of the moment. Oh, this guy's good, and I'm like, okay. And so don't do that. Be more careful. Sapache, Berna. Please, did you read that? Berna, Rangi. Yeah. Let's stop there. How much time we have? Well, let's read it next time. But, in case we die. This is a very long sentence about what do you do if your Lama encourages you to skip to the next big thing and you're not quite ready. Okay, that's a different point, What if your Lama says, okay, we're ready for Tantra, and you're like, whoa, I didn't finish Lamrim yet. Then what, morally, how do you fit that into this advice? Okay, how do you fit that experience into this advice, and what should you do? The essence of the answer is Tuk Dang Mingyao.
Do the thing that your mind is ready for.
No, do not contradict your Lama's wishes. Now the rest we can read, okay? The rest we can read. And frankly what he says is, do it as well as you can, you're not going to be able to do it. But the priority is not to contradict your Lama's wishes, okay? There's a reason why he said go to Tantra before you're ready for Tantra. Maybe you're going to die tomorrow and he wants you to get a little taste or something, okay? So you always, with a Lama, if you're fortunate enough to have a Lama relationship, which I'm not saying it's me, I'm saying whoever it is, you have to treat them as magical. You must treat them as magical. I don't know why you're asking me to do that, but I'll do my best. Okay, and that's Tantra. Okay, cool. All right. Wait. Okay.
So she.
Perki Joshin Metotam Rirabling Shin in the Yampati Sangye Shindu Minte Uagi Rokun Namda Shima Jupasho Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kaniyatayami Di Kewokan Sanam Yeshe Tsozo Shin Sanam Yeshe Nechuwe Tabakuni Tobasho. Cool text. Your text is like a breath of fresh air after all this mind-only stuff.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm trying to find exorcism.
Yeah, I don't think you'll find it anywhere.